Alright, what's up, y'all? I actually just got done with abs and shoulders. I think if I record, it's gonna be after the gym, but we'll see. Because I definitely have significantly less energy after a hard gym sesh with cardio. But I also feel like it's a little bit cheating to just record before, because then you don't really see any of the what's it called? You don't really see any of the fruits. I guess, excuse me. If you, I guess if I started recording myself in the gym more, then that'd be kind of the best of the both worlds. But I'm just not quite to the point in documenting my fitness journey that I'm recording how to do stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? So for now, car talks. I'm trying to think about last time I had a whole bunch of things to talk about and not that much time. And then after that, I kind of just lost the motivation to record a little bit, mostly just because I like having my opportunity to hype up in the car, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't, I don't know, but I just feel like, especially when I'm locked in like this, I really need to have that opportunity to get locked in, or have the opportunity to really get hyped up for the workouts and stuff. So yeah, geez, man, I feel like discombobulated a little bit, probably because I am definitely a little bit dehydrated, as well as just a little low on energy. I'm starting to get back down to where I was at before. In fact, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about the most, is I know that they say you can't undo your progress in 1 day or 2 days of bad eating, but for all you out there who happen to be watching this, which is probably nobody, but just in case, you can literally backslide. You can eat in a surplus for, I did it for 8 days. I was in a surplus, or 9 days. 9 days I was in a surplus, and I'm not talking little surplus either. I'm talking at the very, very least, maintenance. But on most of those 8 or 9 days, I was at least 500 calories in surplus, which is plenty for a bulk. I mean, I went from 167 to 177, so 10 pounds in 9 days. Now, a lot of that, I'm learning, was just water and glycogen. I guess glycogen is part water, but just water and sugar in my muscles. That, as I'm kind of cutting down this week, that's depleting again. But still, I mean, there's at least a couple pounds of fat there, and I was like, man, I feel like it's going to take a whole month to get back to where I just backslid in 8 days. And now, I keep saying backslide, but that's only so that, people can relate to it. Because it was at least 80% intentional on my part. I just was like, you know what? I need to give my metabolism a rest. I need to give my body a chance to kind of get used to more calories again. Just because this is the longest and furthest I've gone as far as a cut goes. Now, I've cut for 4 months before, 4 or 5 months, but I didn't cut down nearly as low. And in my mind, a big cut isn't always necessarily 40 pounds, 50 pounds, you know what I mean? But a big cut could be 20 pounds if you're already relatively lean. And that's kind of what happened before. I was probably 20% body fat, which isn't super lean, but for me that was pretty lean. I mean, I feel like since I've hit puberty, like the lowest I've been is like 20%. So, and I'd done it a couple times, but I mean, I got back down to like my general lowest, and then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get lean, which is like new to me. Some people, they walk around at 15%, like before even doing anything. So, you know, everyone's different. But for me, this sub 10% territory is all uncharted. And so, long story short, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to give my body a chance to take a break. I'm going to kind of just like take this week to get all my cravings out and just eat like whatever I've been craving throughout this whole cut. And I did, pretty much. I mean, like I said, without the exception of Cane's or whatever, I was really craving that, but I don't like it that much. I don't know. I already went on a tangent about that. But long story short, I just kind of ate whatever, and I was like, man, it's going to take me a whole month to get back to where I was just before, and I wasn't done. But that's really not the case. I mean, I've been locked in for, this is day 5, right? Because of Friday. I've been locked in for 5 days, eating exactly 1,800 calories a day. And I'm already back down to 171 as of this morning. And I predict more weight loss by tomorrow and finishing the week strong. And heck, man, we might even be back in the 160s by Sunday. Now, that's not a typical rate of weight loss. For those that have been following me, or for those that this is not their first time tuning in, they know that I'm typically losing weight 1 to 2 pounds a week. But just coming off of this backslide is what we're calling it, but coming off of this break week, my body's kind of coming back to a homeostasis for glycogen levels. I'm not going as low as before. I think I've talked about that. But for cut part 2, I'm going to try and stay a little bit more carved up. I'm going to eat at least 150 grams of carbs a day, just so that, you know, my body stays relatively carved up. Because whenever it gets too low, and I even feel like my carbs are kind of low right now, but whenever, I'll just thug it out today. But whenever it gets too low, I start to get kind of dried out, and my body doesn't retain as much water, which is a good thing if I'm trying to walk on stage and look super lean, but it's a bad thing if I'm trying to consistently lose fat, because that means I just have to get lighter and have to lose more weight to lose the weight that I want to lose. And don't get me wrong, losing glycogen and losing fat are not the same process, but it's as far as like tracking on the scale and staying consistent and stuff, it's better that I stay carved up. That, and my workouts are better, which helps with this whole process, and especially mentally. So that's where I'm at. Just trying to like stay relatively carved up, not like I'm on a bulk, like puffy, but enough that I don't get dried out. Although seeing people like Sam Sulek on stage all dried out, especially in the face, is like, wow, he looks like the Giga Chad. Like his cheeks and jawline are all very defined. But I mean, that's just vanity at that point. Honestly, basing your goals around wanting to look a certain way, especially look like somebody else, is just dumb, in my opinion. I feel like it's important to have good goals, and it's important even to want to look better, because quite frankly, like, it's hard enough to date out here as it is, but I mean, you want to be looking your best is all I'm saying. But I think that you shouldn't base your whole lifestyle around looking better, you know, because that's just a pursuit of something that's ultimately not going to be real. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm focusing on, though, is just cutting, clean cutting. This time I'm really cutting back on the sugar, as far as like I'm still eating carbs, but it's like my one Rice Krispie a day, which really isn't that sweet, or like just whatever within my goals. I think the app is really helping. The tracking the macros is really helping. Except I'm never meeting my fat goals. I'm not really sure what my fat goals should be, and honestly, I don't really care that much right now because I'm very like consistent taking the omega-3 and stuff, so I'm not that concerned about like brain and heart health from fats, because this diet isn't permanent. I'll get on a more like healthy maintenance for the summer once I finally get like down to where that fat on my lower abs is gone that I'm looking for. But anyway, so long story short, I've said that like 4 times, but I'm kind of tired, you can tell. But I'm catching up to where I was before. So if you ever feel like, oh man, it's just not worth it, like I just had a couple bad days in a row and my progress is gone. Don't get me wrong, your progress is hindered 100%. Especially if you, like, one cheat day I feel like is fine, but you should honestly limit those, just because the hardest part, at least for me, speaking from my own experience, the hardest part of cutting is the mental game, and it makes it a lot easier mentally if you're just eating more consistent instead of having these days where you kind of just go crazy. But anyway, like, one day, not a big deal. You hop back on the horse, you're fine. 2 days, it's going to have more of an impact. If you're dried out, you're going to be a little bit more bloated. If you're not dried out, you could potentially gain back some of what you've lost already. Especially if you're eating all the way up to maintenance. But the fact of the matter is, even a week of not being locked in can be fixed. I mean, you can accommodate for it by just locking back in again the next week, you know, starting over again on Monday. And I'm not saying if it's been 3 days, just power through the rest of or just like do whatever the rest of the week, because you can start again on Monday. That's not what I'm saying, because you're going to pay for every day of surplus you eat in, and you're going to pay for every day of like lost potential progress because you weren't locked in, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if it's already happened, the game's not over. You still got a chance to hit your goals and stuff. So, and you can interpret that however you want. You're like, kind of sounds like you're saying I can just take the whole week off, but I do regret taking 9 full days. That was silly. In fact, it was gluttonous. I didn't feel good. I honestly forgot how negative or how bad you feel when you eat processed food, sugary foods. I just felt horrible. My workouts were not as good, even though I was eating plenty of carbs and stuff. There's definitely a balance. So if you're contemplating throwing it away, at least ease into it. Because gluttony is just never the answer. So anyway, peace out.